I'm thirsty now. Can someone throw me a water? I almost took you out. They make you nervous. Why are you always sick? I feel like every time we film, you're sick. True. You know, like when you leave laundry in the washing machine sometimes, it stinks and it smells a little. Is that how you smell? Welcome back to the channel. I am Melissa and this is Jessica, and today we are going to talk about how to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. Shocking, but possible. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you're always notified whenever we go live, so you never miss any of Jessica's quirks and things that she does that's really weird. And you threw up in a teacup like 3 videos ago. You can't top that. You threw up in a teacup. I did that this morning actually again. Did you? Yeah. You have a problem, man. It's bad. In today's video, like Melissa said, we want to talk about like this whole idea of how do I lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. In other words, we're kind of talking about that whole idea of toning up, right? And I feel like when everyone comes to us, they're like, I want to get toned. When they look at like our transformation pictures, they're like, I want the same transformation that you guys had. I want to figure out how to turn all of this fat into muscle. That way, like, it's not, you know, I'm not fluffy. I'm not having all of this fat that's hanging over my jeans. I want that like tight, toned, lean, athletic looking physique. Here's the thing is that you're literally looking at us and our transformation, right? And you're saying, I want that. And then when we tell you how we did it, you're like, no, we have to do like cardio and like low calorie. And like, of course, like you have to do HIIT workouts like 20 times in a week. And I think that it comes from like, if you look around women's diet industry, everywhere you look, when you're looking at like that toned model anywhere, it's usually paired with like some type of HIIT workout and like low calorie diet, like a quick like cleanse diet or whatever it is. And so for women, it's almost like, of course I have to go do like high intensity cardio and kind of like replace meals, and then I'm gonna get that toned look, and then I can go back to how I was eating. And it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, but here's the other thing that will probably shock you. Toning up isn't a thing. Yeah. That is like just a cute word that again was invented by like the women's diet and exercise industry in order to find this niche market, in order to market to women to say, hey, buy this exercise equipment, do these like fad diets, because at the end of the day, you cannot tone a muscle. Yeah. And here's the thing, I guarantee probably half of you watching this have done all of those toning workouts and shit. Guarantee you're not toned. Wow. I'm just saying, I guarantee you're not. And I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying it's the same thing for years. It's the diet industry who's literally telling you, they're saying, oh, you want this look. They're calling it toned because it's not muscular. Because they're not telling you of getting bulky. They're not telling you that you have to like strength train to get that look. They're telling you, here's this toned look. Now do our program where we're going to take your money and waste your time and energy. You're never going to look like that, but keep giving us money. By the way, there's probably something wrong with you because you can't stick to our plan, and that's why you never going off. It's not them. It's the diet industry that's like feeding them lies. But we understand that because we ran the same cycles. Like I remember doing all the HIIT workouts in the living room, like growing up and things like that, eating minimal calories. The problem is after 15, 20 years of doing that, our body still never looked toned. That is my biggest issue. When I found out like toning is not an actual thing, you cannot tone a muscle and you can't turn fat into muscle, my mind was blown. So that's something we want to share with you about how did we have our transformations. But you need to understand that piece first, that you cannot like tone up. You either can build muscle or you can pull off body fat. And they're 2 separate functions that usually require separate dietary protocols. When you are building muscle, you are usually eating in a calorie surplus, right? Like your muscles, like anything else, need nutrients in order to grow. So we need to be able to give your body enough fuel to allow your muscles to grow if we want to put on muscle. If we want to lose body fat, again, that's a completely separate function. Most clients, if you want to lose body fat, you need to be eating in a calorie deficit. Some people can lose body fat like around maintenance levels, but again, you're not eating in a calorie surplus. So when we are losing weight, you're losing body fat, but you're also losing a little bit of muscle as well, right? Like it's not just fat that you're losing, it's muscle tissue, it's fat, it's water, it's all of the things. So by nature, you cannot grow your muscle if you're eating in a way that's causing you to lose muscle. Yeah. So, but there's a caveat. Go ahead, caveat.
Do you want me to
Give us the caveat.
You're going, I'm out of breath. Is there like, are we in altitude?
We're in the desert.
I know. I feel so out of breath. I feel like you got me fired up with like your
Sorry.
whatever.
I'm thirsty now. Can someone throw me a water?
That almost took you out. It did almost take me out. So my caveat is that because we know we cannot turn fat into muscle, and because we know that muscle gain and fat loss are two separate functions, then the question comes back to, well, like you said, I want to lose fat and tone up or gain muscle. So how can I do it? And the answer is you usually can't unless you're a newbie. There's like a window of a couple months to a couple years for most people where if you are actually eating like appropriately, you're actually following like an appropriate nutrition protocol, a very moderate deficit, even sometimes at maintenance, if you're following an appropriate strength training protocol, and if we have the right cardio protocol, then we do have the ability to move into what's called body recomposition, which is what most of you are probably looking for if you don't have a lot of weight to lose, but you want to not be so fluffy and you want that more like lean, athletic looking physique. So do you want to tell them how you actually went through like your transformation?
Yeah, so number one, I hired a coach. I hired a bodybuilding coach, someone who knew exactly what to do to get me the physique that I wanted. What we did was he pulled my calories down a bit, and
but they were still higher.
They were higher than anything I've ever eaten before. I was trying to put on muscle, and I thought maybe I should like eat in a little bit of a surplus, and I didn't know how to properly reverse diet. This is a while ago, and so what happened was the calories got dropped with my coach, and he had me strength training. I was more progressive overload style training. I wasn't trying to confuse my muscles every time I went into the gym. It was, nutrition paired with strength training and really no cardio. The only cardio that I was doing was 10,000 steps a day. Once the fat was kind of pulled off of me, kind of relatively quickly, I would say within the first like 2 to 3 months, I was like pretty lean. Then what happened was he started to increase my calories a bit. We started to add in cardio with the increase of calories, and literally like I had abs for the first time in my life. Like, I mean, like it was wild with the transformation. Still doing 10,000 steps a day. I was eating more food. I was up to like close to 2,000 calories a day, doing cardio only 3 times a week, strength training, and I finally, for the first time ever, like really had that toned look, and I was really, really happy with the shape of my body. We can flash up my before and after pictures. My body had never ever looked the way it did before in my life. I've always kind of had that more like pear shape, like kind of tire around like the midsection. And this was the first time I was actually able to like change the composition of my body. And the only way to do that was through strength training and the proper nutrition.
So you'll notice what she didn't say. She didn't say that like her coach came in and dramatically pulled down calories. She wasn't eating 1,200 calories a day. So nutrition was kept at a very moderate level so that your body had enough nutrients in order to actually thrive and support the level of training you're doing. You notice she didn't say that she's doing a ton of cardio. If anything, her cardio started out at 10,000 steps a day, right? Sometimes like you can even drop down to 8 to 10,000. And then when we did add in structured cardio, it was moderate, right? It was moderate intensity, steady state cardio, around 15 to 25 minutes, somewhere in that range, 3 times a week. So it's not, jumping on the Stairmaster or jumping on the elliptical for 45 minutes, 5 to 6 times a week.
It was 20 minutes.
It was
20 minutes 3 times a week. So it wasn't anything super intense. It
wasn't any HIIT workouts where you're jumping around and like nothing like that. And then the last piece, and this is probably the most important piece if you want to truly tone up, you need to strength train aggressively. And when I mean strength training, I don't mean the booty bands. I don't mean like light resistance bands. I'm not talking about like lightweight, high rep, 2-pound pink dumbbells doing 20 reps. I'm talking about like lifting some heavy ass weight to the point where you're taking your like muscles to failure. That's one thing that most women never learn how to do over the course of their lifetime because everyone's afraid of getting bulky.
And I was terrified of training my legs. I literally would not train my legs at all because I'm like, I like my legs. I don't want them to get bulky. I don't want like those manly looking legs. Like we can put my transformation pictures back up again on the screen so you can see it. Like, do my legs look bulky and manly to you? They don't. Like they're more muscular than ever before, but like better. They look way better. Like I would kill to have that over like my what I used to look like, right? And that's the thing, is that like so many women, and comes from like men always telling you like don't lift heavy weights, like whatever, and so you think you can't pick up anything heavy. You actually can, and actually if you want to get toned, you have to.
Right, and so when we're talking about like picking up heavy, we train all of our clients in a progressive overload method, which means that we're consistently either increasing weight, increasing reps, or increasing the level of intensity, like the level of intention at what you're performing, you know, the movement. That way you're getting better every single session, and you're constantly putting your muscles under more tension. That's the best way to be able to pull off body fat while also trying to maintain as much lean muscle as possible. And at the end of the day, doing that whole process, that's called body recomposition. It's not called toning. I think the best way, and I just want to leave you with this like one visual, because I think it's one of the best ways to understand like how this works, right? We can't take fat and turn it into muscle. What we need to do is essentially maintain that lean muscle or grow that lean muscle and then pull off body fat in order to expose it. So the best way to think about this is if you lay a pillow, fluffy pillow on your bed, right? You kind of have this big mound. When you look at the pillow, you see the shape of a pillow. We have this nice big mound. But then I put on one sheet, and then I layer another sheet on top of it, and then I maybe layer
Like a waffle blanket.
a waffle blanket. Yeah, exactly. And then maybe I layer like a cozy fuzzy blanket, and then I put the duvet on top of it, and then maybe I put a quilt, and then maybe I just put like one more like,
It's a lot of layers.
it's really cold where I live, okay? So at the end of the day, when I'm looking at this shape, it looks very big.
Doughy.
It's just big, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't see the shape of the pillow anymore. You just see this big mass or like lump. And that's what's happening. We want to think of the pillow as the muscle, and all of those additional layers that you're putting on, that's body fat, right? So what we need to do over time is we need to strip that body fat away. So I pull back one layer, and then the next and the next. And the more that you pull those layers back, you're gonna see more of the shape of the pillow until you pull that last layer off, and then you just see that tight pillow again, which is your muscles. Does that make sense?
That's great.
Thanks.
Good job.
So that's essentially what you're doing when you want to create that toned look. You are simply maintaining lean muscle and pulling off body fat.
Air
Really
conditioning
fast.
kicked off.
I know.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
Cool.